I'm here with the great Attila of Mayhem to talk about the upcoming new record, Liturgy of Death, out February 6th on Century Media Records. Always a pleasure to see you and talk to you about your music, to talk to you about Mayhem. How's things going with you?
Hi Pedro, nice to meet you. Nice to see you, and everything is good. We are really busy actually. I'm doing now these interviews, preparing for the new tour which is coming. The album seems to have good responses, at least from you guys when I'm doing interviews. So it's very great, but I'm also trying to spend some time with the family. I'm here in California with my wife now. She's working. I just got married in May. That's crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, and also trying to catch up with my other projects a little bit. We can talk maybe about it later in the interview. Like when it's this huge thing like Mayhem album is released, then I suddenly have a little bit time and air for my other stuff. But yeah, like it's Tormentor and there's some other things, my solo stuff and some other new interesting projects are going on. So I'm really, really busy, and it's all about music. And it's music is just my life. I don't know how can it's. I can't have enough, but I don't know how I could have more. Musically. So
Your
it's
your your
crazy.
plate is full, but it's full of great stuff because you love it. So
Mhm.
I
Thank
can
you. Yeah.
I can totally understand that. So let me ask you
Mhm.
this: when it comes to Mayhem putting out new music, does the legacy of the band impact the way you guys look at the creative process going into a new album?
Definitely, it's always there. We always carry on the legacy, and um, it's not like planned like what we're gonna do. We also go with the flow, and it's kind of naturally shaping always the next record. When I look back, it's interesting, which is again not the plan, but somehow I see this duo, duets, like these albums, like somehow like Grand Declaration and Chimera is kind of related, Ordo ad Chaos and Esoteric Warfare is another like a couple, and. And now I think Diamond and Liturgy of Death is also somehow related. So it's changing, but it's always carrying on the legacy, and yeah, I'm always thinking also, especially in an album like this one, which was of course dedicated to the team Death. Obviously, I was thinking a lot about the members who passed away, Euronymous and Dad. They been with me on the creative in the creative times too, and even like in the other interview, they asked me about like what that like silence. I say that word. Yeah, it's like a mentioning. Of course, it is like a message back to the guys. So it's like the past is alive always with us.
What do you, if you can pinpoint something on this record that makes this album unique from other Mayhem records, what do you feel this album offers that it's different?
Well, from my perspective, I think it's the theme that, which is like now it was like that's the core of all dark art. I think not just black metal, but dark poetry, philosophy, literature, even architecture. And of course the religions and stuff. So when I had this theme, it just like manifested for me. It just kind of came from my channel, and I was like, holy shit, this is, and of course, like we talk about the legacy of the band, like our members who passed away. So it's really, really in the genes or in the blood of Mayhem. And I was like, wow, this is coming to me now. I have to. It's a huge, tremendous theme. It's the most universal theme. This is what everyone has to face with. This is the basic fundament of everything. So am I ready? Am I ready for this? And I was like, maybe I'm 55. Maybe I'm ready. Maybe that's why it came to me. So the whole theme of the record, I think, make it special. That all the songs are about the death, and I'm trying to approach it from different perspectives, different aspects, and all the songs, all the lyrics are pretty dark too. But hey, this is a Mayhem album, so it has to be.
I was gonna say, you guys can't be singing about rainbows and unicorns.
No, 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 exactly. And yeah, that's how it is exactly. So for me, maybe that's why I think the music also kind of like kind of embracing the whole heritage. Somehow, it's I think we have a little bit of everything there, and maybe it's the effect of the 40 years anniversary tour, which been going on in the last couple of years, actually in the last year, and it was impossible to fulfill all the requests in 1 year. So the 40 years is went into the last year, so it became like 2 years, the 4 years. But it is what it is. Who cares? It's more about like just to share this with the audience, and I think that also might affect had a little effect on the music. That's my guessing, but for me, the theme it's kind of unique, and it's also kind of personal how I approach because all the lyrics obviously I wrote so and and I think this is why really, really strong recommendation, or if I believe in something, that's what I believe that everyone has to figure out themselves. That's the only thing I believe. Like you, it's individual paths. So this is from my perspective, and even if it is universal theme, and yeah, it's like I think that's all makes it kind of unique. But I let you go ahead a little bit with
No,
your
no, it's
question.
great. My next question, you mentioned the anniversary and touring. You guys tour a lot. You play a lot of live shows. Does playing live together as a band help you guys to fine tune music when the time comes to make a new album and going into the studio? How much from that live experience do you guys take into the studio?
I guess a lot because, of course, when we play live, it means we are together for months. In a tour bus, we hang together. We have every night food together. We don't, not just playing together. And also, like for instance, when I first band Tormentor, when we prepared for like the Anno Domini record, I remember for 1 year we were like rehearsing every week, like 3 days. We don't do that with Mayhem anymore. We play so much, it's enough. And I think it's great because I always thought my philosophy is about music is to play it live. For me that's number one. That's the most important when we perform live. I think that's when the real magic happens, and that's when you really face with the people. That's when people can see you, people can feel you if it's real, if it's truth. It's not easy. I remember when I came back to Mayhem in like 2004. I already thought like playing live is the most important. I had so many shows with Tormentor in the 80s. Like Mayhem didn't have that many, I think. But with Tormentor, we had many shows in the 80s. So I kind of grown up on a stage. Like I was 15 when first I entered the stage, and until when we finished with Tormentor, 89, I was like, what, 18, 19. When we finished in 90, I had already a lot of shows, like 50 to 100 or maybe more. I don't know how many shows we had. So for me, it was always playing live, performing. That's the crucial part of playing music. But when I went on stage with Mayhem, I felt the heaviness. Like, holy shit, this is hard. Like people have so expectations and the legacy you are talking about and everything. Like that was like not an easy shoe to fill. And I guess the same with the other members. That's why it takes some time to find actually when there is a lineup change. It takes a long time to find out who is right, who is not, because it's not just like playing in a random band. It's really, really takes more than that. You really have to be part of it. Like it's your life gonna turn into something else, if you have a band like that. So anyway, yeah, playing live for me is the most important. And of course, the second is creation and making album and be in the studio. I enjoy that too. But I think when you play live, that's when the meaning, that's the original meaning of playing music, I think.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off that because you're saying playing live is the most important thing for you, following the second most important thing, which is creating the music. But in 2021, you guys won a Norwegian Grammy for a Demon for the last record. Winning a Grammy, winning an award like that for the work that you guys have created, does that change anything for you at all?
Um, yeah, actually, we had already one for Ordo at KO before, so that was the second. And I remember when we had the Ordo at KO, I heard about the nomination, and I was in Egypt. I traveled to Egypt a lot, or used to travel a lot. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I was in Egypt and someone texted me, hey, you won the Grammy. I was like, what? Wow, that's great. I almost forgot I was in Egypt. I was into something else. I mean, it's a great honor, of course, but, it's cool. It doesn't change much. Like, when we started with Tormentor, look at these guys. When we started with Tormentor, we uh, we had a lot of negative critics, and like even the metal scene was very skeptic with us, like this is too extreme, this is like metal should unite, why you need this stuff, this too extreme, this Satan, holy shit. So, and that just helped actually. It's just more and more people came. We already had the same crowd almost like today I have with Mayhem, but only with Hungary and only some shows, not all the time, of course. But still, we had like sometimes like 1,000 people. Of course, we didn't make any money, or we even were not even legal to play. Actually, it was the old system, so it was kind of different and spicy. No security, no shit. I don't want to talk too much about Tormentor, but it's just like I'm talking about also Ordo at Keo, the other Grammy Award winner. The first review I read again was from Hungary. Maybe Hungary they don't like me so much, but I don't know. Anyway, it was like this album is so fucked up and wrong that I recommend you guys buy beer instead of buying a CD. I was like, all right, great. That was the first review I read. And you see, later we won the Grammy with the same album. And today, most of the people think that album is cool. I mean, I think it's a great piece of art anyway. And so, this thing, like, I just like to let it go. When I make a record, I even with this one, I have problems. Sometimes people ask me about the songs and stuff. I kind of didn't listen since I listened maybe a few times. I had to check the master and everything, but then I let it go. And I mean, back in the days, for instance, Tormentor or whatever other bands, and we did a demo, I listened so many times. I was so overwhelmed. It's such a great shit to listen your own stuff. But today I'm changed and I learn like I'm more like let it go and I focus on other things. I go on other stuff, other projects I mentioned. So for me, I just think like people free whatever they think about it. It's you are totally free. You like it or you dislike it. Of course, I'm happy to hear. And it seems like people just seems like when the interviews I talk to you guys, you heard the whole album. People seem to be very happy with it, which makes me happy. But that's great. But yeah, it's amazing. It's cool, and I actually very like to hear that also when we hear that after a live show that hey guys, you sound better than ever. That's a really good compliment and a good achievement. Like for a 4 years old band that we sound better than ever. That's great. What could be better than that? But I try not to be affected too much by these things, not to get too influenced. I don't like to. That could go in my ego, like oh how cool I am, and might take things start to take things easier, which is I don't think it's a healthy thing. Or the other way around, if people talk some bad things about or negative, like I already learned that it doesn't matter because the time will tell, and so I don't get affected by that, so much.
You've been able to build some immunity towards that. That's you definitely
Mhm.
need it, especially when you're
Yeah.
in the public eye and you're creating music. Obviously, not
Yes.
everything is going to be for everybody. You mentioned playing live, the band 4 years. I'm wearing Jan Martin t-shirt. You guys are going to
Oh,
be here.
wow, that's cool. I didn't know it's a young Martin. He was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he was very young.
Rest in peace.
I got
Rest
this
in peace,
T-shirt
young
last
Martin.
year at Inferno, celebrating his life, and
Mm,
we're all going to be celebrating his life at Inferno again this year. But this time around, Mayhem is one of the headliners, and you're going to be busy, not just with Mayhem. You have a full schedule on your hands when it comes to Inferno. So, how is it for you to play at a festival like Inferno? There's such an iconic festival when it comes to black metal and extreme music.
it's really cool, and yeah, this is one of the best. And for my heart, it's a very important festival. And Jan Martin was a really, really great guy, actually. And I can tell he was so cool. Even before I was in Mayhem, he invited us to play in Inferno with my that time Italian band Aborium. And it was a huge thing for us to play there. It's such a remark, it's not a huge, it's not that big festival, but it's a super important, I think, and it's an iconic festival. And to play in Rockefeller, the stage, it's always a magic, and even in John D, I played in John D too. With Sun was amazing back in the days, also with Avorin, we played on the Rockefeller stage. It's a great stuff, and it's kind of also it's like a family. I meet so many people, like like we know each other. There's a kind of like an Inferno vibe. You hang out, everybody is cool. It's very nice. It's always an honor, and yeah, and we should dedicate our show to Ian Martin. Actually, I will try to do something about that, or at least I will do something about it on the stage. It's good that you
You
mentioned.
yeah, you're 100% right. Like the vibe there is unique to that festival. Like when you walk
Mhm.
into the hub, into the hotel, you see everybody in the lobby, everybody knows everybody, everybody's super friendly with one another. It's really a family get together, if you will.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. It
There's
is. It
no
is
other
very
festival
iconic.
with that vibe.
I would say, yeah, it's true. It's very interesting. It's intimate. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
very.
cool.
So, how do you manage when you're at a festival and you're performing with different bands? Do you have a different way of going at it? Like how is it for you being a frontman, being a vocalist, being having a busy schedule at a festival, playing with multiple bands?
Yeah, I'm gonna play now. I think with Mayhem and Tormentor, it's gonna be interesting, insane. I mean, it's it's people are cool normally, and it's a really like a hard thing, go around and like not to get too much into the selfies and everything. No one is that punishing there, so it's okay. It's okay. And then again, I have so many friends there to hang with, and but even if I don't go out, just in the backstage, it's all the musicians are friends, so it's always like it's kind of cool. And I don't know, it's. I always say, or at least for my family or people, that I hope I'm not gonna get much more famous than I am now, because that's gonna be too much. I don't want to be like, I'm in US now, and I totally got it. When you are in these big Hollywood stars, nobody thinks about it. Everybody thinks it's the dream life. No, you can't go out. You can't go out to a pub to have a beer. You can't do anything if you are on that level. It's like fucking crazy. You need a security to close the place, and like it's so. It's not an Inferno is not like that, and we are not like that. Luckily, our fans are very respective, and I think to play black metal and the extreme metal and heavy metal in general, but at least the extreme metal is like more intimate. Everybody knows, and that's like I told you, it's an individual. We are more individuals. Everybody is more like an individual. It's not that crazy hype. But of course, I'm okay to sign stuff, and if people ask for a picture, I most of the time say yes, if I'm not busy. But it's I don't know, it's crazy. I mean, of course, I'm very happy that if people listening our music, and like our music, but it's never about me. I'm just a part of it. It's the band, It's a whole band behind, So, and of course, it's a lot of work, and I know how it is. I have my heroes too, like one of the project, like this project I was gonna talk to you about, the other stuff. Like one is with Igor Cavalera, is one of my hero. We do this experimental band. We just started. Hopefully, we will play on Inferno with that one day too,
No?
or the other stuff. That's amazing stuff we just started to do with Igor. And Igor, maybe I didn't know, or maybe people don't know, he's not just an amazing drummer, but he's really good with modular synths and experimental tunes and music. So we do something very, very ritualistic. We are so much on the same page, the very ritualistic stuff. And another example for my other stuff is I do something with Brice Felber from Frontline Assembly, which hopefully will come to Inferno too one day. However, it's not going to be metal, but it's going to be cathedral industrial, like very, I think it will fit there. And these things are just so amazing I always try to say no, and I have to, most of the stuff, but these things, it's hard to say no. I had to say yes. They're both my heroes, and it's like it's somehow it's like a karma. It's not just happening from one day to another. It takes years. We already knew each other, and we end up like, okay, we have to do it. We have to do the stuff. But talking about Inferno, I even played there with my solo stuff, Void of Voices, and did the Nosferatu score. I think a year ago, maybe, or that was maybe 2 years. Jan Martin was still around.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah. I
really
think it was
cool.
2024, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. That was also amazing. So he's been so open-minded, to making this festival. Like even he made it happen for me to play the Nosferatu, movie and the live score for that with my solo stuff, Void of Voices. So it's a special thing, and it's a very special festival. And of course, Norway and Oslo, and I think Jan Martin did a lot for the scene. People should know that he's been around for a long time, a long, long time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't, he was like very good at picking up bands. I think, like I'm saying with Aborim, it meant so much for us to play there. And I remember Dissection played there, and they even performed with Dissection at Inferno, which was crazy. You can find on the internet, like we run overtime, so it's fucking crazy. They said, no, you have to leave the stage. So they turned off the PA, but we still played. So I'm singing without a microphone to the crowd, and the crowd was singing. It's like fucking insane, That only can happen there. It was amazing. It was
I,
amazing with that section, and then a lot of crazy memories, A lot of crazy memories. It's good. It's really, really cool.
I gotta say, Igor is one of my heroes as well. If it wasn't for him and Max, I probably would have never listened to metal in my life. So they've had a
Right,
massive impact on me as a metalhead, as a young kid. I'm Portuguese,
right.
so they're Brazilian. Growing up in Portugal, those guys proved to
Fuck
us that you
yeah.
could come from a
Coming to
small
Sao
little town.
Paulo.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
come
oh,
from a
yeah.
small town or a small country, poor country, and you could still have an impact.
Insane, insane. You are right. You are right. For me, Sepultura was more like keeping metal alive. When in the end of the 80s, when it's one of the reasons we stopped with Tormentor, it looked like it was kind of over. Like all the cool trash bands, like Sodom Destruction, stuff like that. They started to leave behind the satanic, like this kind of black metal-ish thing. Bathory, another great hero, but also they went into the Viking stuff, which is really cool. But it looked like, at the time, like, something is changing, and even Celtic was, everybody was kind of doing weird stuff, apart maybe from Slayer and then Sepultura. I remember that was so fucking cool to hear those guys, and then it was like keeping me they were keeping me in the ring, in the metal ring. So it's pretty cool.
So let
And
me
yeah.
ask you this: When is your project with Igor? Do you have a timeline on for it?
No, we just played live in this Legacy festival, and We just had two warm-up shows. Even in the warm-up shows in Switzerland, the first night I felt like it's gonna be very special. Like we knew each other, but I didn't know we could be so much on the same page, and like we both share the interests like yoga, meditation. We went straight edge. I'm also straight edge now, like just whatever. I like to be clean. And also but the most important, the music, that we both think it has to be very ritualistic, and that approach is great, and he's so open-minded. He just did face paint like that, he said, no, I never did it. Can you help me? So we did face paint, kind of cool. I mean, I just saying, like, it's amazing to be on the same page. So I felt immediately it was going to be something special. And then the Legacy Festival is culminated into like people loved it so much. It was like maybe it looked like Rockefeller or even bigger. The whole venue was packed, and it's not a metal festival. And people were there and staring us. And like, it was in Holland, in Netherlands and in Utrecht, I think. And it was like, holy shit, everybody was after like, hey, can we book you a show and stuff? Like, hold on, we needed to make maybe a record or something. The only thing is that we want to make an album, obviously. And the time is the only problem, that we are all busy. He's busy, I am busy, but I think we're gonna make it happen, And this year we should record an album, that's for sure. I have to talk to him, but he's also busy with his stuff. But we've been talking about making an album for sure, and or maybe release some of these live recordings. But I think it would be better to start with an album and then start to play live. I really want to play live with him. It's really cool.
Then we can have you guys at Inferno in 2027.
That would be amazing.
That
That
would
would
be
be really
amazing.
cool.
That
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
amazing. I would look forward to it. Attila, thank you very much for your time, man. Enjoy your time in California. Enjoy your interviews promoting the record. And I'll see you in Norway at Inferno. And if I run into
Yes,
you, I promise not to bug you a lot. I'll just ask for a picture and I'll leave you alone. I promise. I promise.
it's okay. It's totally fine, bro. We are a family. Like that, I'm saying, like I'm never bothered really. It's like if I'm not busy, I'm happy. I'm a social. I like to have hang with people, not just with you, but anyone. It's not a problem. It's just like everything is cool, actually. So thank you very much. Thanks for the
Oh,
interview,
no
and
problem. My pleasure.
yeah, see you at Inferno.
See you at Inferno.
So
Take care. All the best. Bye.
thank you. You too. Bye. Ciao. Bye.